So we've all seen AI that can write, right? And we've definitely seen AI that can draw some incredible pictures. But what's the next big leap? What if AI's next masterpiece wasn't a poem or a painting, but an entire world?
Yeah, think about it. AI has pretty much nailed the 2D world. Text, images, you name it. So where does it go from here? Well, the next frontier is obviously the third dimension. We're not just talking about an AI that describes a world. We're talking about one that actually builds it for you.
Okay, so let's dive right into that. Our first section is all about this incredible new wave of AI that can construct entire 3D environments, basically from scratch.
All right, to really get what's going on, you gotta understand this key idea called a world model. Now, this isn't your typical AI that just looks at pixels and says, that's a cat. No, a world model builds an internal 3D map of its surroundings. It gets how things relate to each other in space. You know, it's the difference between just describing a room and actually being able to walk around inside of it.
And here's what's a total game changer. We're moving from temporary, almost dreamlike worlds to something permanent. See, a lot of the early AI worlds were these morphing, kind of weird scenes that were made up on the fly. The new frontier is all about building persistent, stable environments. We're talking about digital spaces you can actually download, mess with, and use again and again.
So, who's leading the charge? Well, there's a new tool out there, the first big commercial product in this space that's taking this wild idea and making it a real thing you can use. And it's called Marble.
Now, Marble comes from a startup called Wildest, which was founded by none other than the AI pioneer Fei-Fei. So right away, you know this isn't just some weekend project. This is a super serious venture with some of the biggest brains in the entire field behind it. Okay, so what is Marble, really? At its heart, it's a tool that takes your ideas, and I mean anything from a simple text prompt to photos or even video clips, and turns them into these incredible 3D worlds. But here's the key part. They're not just pretty pictures. No, these are actual editable, downloadable assets. You can export them in professional formats like meshes or Gaussian splats and pop them right into other software. That's a massive leap forward for, actually using this stuff.
But it's not just about the raw power of generation. Marble has this core philosophy that's all about giving you, the creator, total control. The idea is simple. It's your world, you make the rules.
And this quote from Justin Johnson, one of the co-founders, just hits the nail on the head. He says they don't want the machine to just take the wheel. The whole point is to give the creator a kind of superpowered co-pilot, right? It's there to boost your vision, not replace you.
And that control, it starts right at the beginning with what you feed into it. You're not just stuck with a boring text prompt. You can throw in single images, multiple images, video clips, panoramas, the whole shebang. And when you give the AI all that rich context, you can create these unbelievably realistic digital twins of real-life places. But honestly, the real magic isn't just in creating the world. It's what you can do with it afterwards. And that happens inside this amazing tool called Chisel. World Labs calls it an AI-native 3D editor, which is a pretty cool term.
Okay, check out this analogy because it makes everything click. Chisel does something brilliant. It separates the structure of your world from its style. Think about it like a website. You use HTML to build the bones, the layout, the walls, where the objects go. That's the what. Then you use CSS to make it look cool. That's the look. You can just tell it, make it look futuristic, or give it a cyberpunk vibe. This is a huge deal for creative control.
And the control doesn't stop there. It gets even crazier. Did you hit the edge of your world? No problem. Just tell the AI to expand it and add more detail. Want to mash up two totally different worlds, like a sci-fi city and a fantasy forest? They have something called Composer Mode that lets you literally stitch them together, and you can just reach in and grab and move stuff around. It's direct, hands-on control.
Okay, so this tech is obviously super powerful. But who's actually going to use it? And for what? Let's get into the real-world impact and see who this is really for.
First things first, this isn't some vaporware. Marble is a real product you can subscribe to. They've got different tiers, from a free plan if you just want to play around, all the way up to a max plan for pro studios, so they're really trying to make it accessible for everybody. So who are the early adopters? Well, you got the gaming industry, of course, using it to quickly create background environments. VFX artists are loving it for the insane camera control you get. And the VR world, for headsets like the Vision Pro and Quest 3 that are always hungry for more content, this is like a miracle. But it's not just for fun and games. Think about robotics. You can create these incredibly detailed simulations to train robots in. But, whenever a powerful new tool like this comes along, there's always a big question mark. How do the pros, the people already working in these industries, actually feel about it? And yeah, the feelings are mixed, for sure. A recent survey from the Game Developers Conference showed that about a third of developers are pretty worried about generative AI, and their top concerns are what you might expect. Things like IP theft, how much energy this stuff uses, and the fear that it could lead to lower quality content. And look, these are absolutely valid concerns that the whole industry is trying to figure out right now.
So, what's the comeback from World Labs? Well, they're really focused on one key word: integration, not replacement. Their goal isn't for Marble to spit out a finished game, not at all. The idea is to create assets, a cool background, a single object, whatever, that you then bring into the big professional tools like Unity and Unreal Engine. It's designed to slot right into the existing workflow, not, bulldoze over it.
And that idea of integration, of fitting into these complex workflows, it points to something much, much bigger. We're moving beyond just making games or movies faster. This is really about teaching AI something totally new, a skill they're calling spatial intelligence.
And this quote from Fei-Fei really captures the scale of their ambition. She says that for machines to be truly intelligent, just understanding language isn't going to cut it. They have to understand the physical world, how things work, how they move, how they interact in 3D space.
It's actually a pretty simple way to think about it, but it's profound. We're all used to large language models, or LLMs, right? They taught machines to read and write. Well, world models are the next big evolutionary leap. They're teaching machines how to see and how to build.
And that is why this matters so much, way beyond just video games and movies. An AI that gets 3D space could simulate how molecules interact, which could be huge for discovering new medicines. It could help design brand new materials we can't even imagine yet. It's the key to training robots that can actually navigate our messy, complicated world. The potential here to push science and medicine forward is, well, it's just staggering.
So, let's just end on this one thought. For a long, long time, we've been the ones teaching the machines. But now they're starting to learn how to see and build for themselves. And that changes the question completely. It's not just about what we can create with them anymore. The real question is, what will they create?